Funkle's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals. Over the weekend, I went to fetch our next customer vehicle, a 1987 Pontiac Firebird. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Right, so it's very early in the morning, Monday. So yes, we are going to start off this week. And as you can tell, we have got some parts laying over here. So these are second-hand parts that I bought from the junkyard for our project truck we are busy with inside the shop. And obviously we've got the customer vehicle. His name is Harry. So this is his third gen Pontiac Firebird. We need to try and fix up for him. It's very rusty and it's going to need quite a bit of work. So yeah, this is basically the third project that we are tackling. Not really the third project, but yes, the second project, because the last episode we had two projects still. The last one was Laco's ramp truck, which is done. So that has been delivered to him. And then we also still have Cyclone's car we are working on. So now I've decided to take on the next job for the time being, because Cyclone's car is in over at the paint shop at Richard's Auto Body. So they are busy doing the paint job on that car for us. And then when that comes back, we just need to sort out the interior and also some missing windows on it. But as you can see, we've got our beautiful 1958 Chevy Impala back from the paint. And I decided to go with this nice bright green, almost the same color as the Dodge Charger was. But yes, they have replaced the rear windscreen as well for us already. And they sorted out all of the little dents and bangs we had on this thing. And we also got a new left headlight over here. And this trim is also has been replaced. So yes, we just basically need to put the two front seats in this thing, and then this thing will be good to go. So we are also going to be auctioning this thing off for a couple of bucks. Hopefully we're going to make a little bit of profit on it. So first of all, I'm going to remove this front seat that came with the car, which is way too big. So we're just going to yank this out and we'll just put it on the table here for now. And then these seats we've got over here should fit the car a little bit better. I believe this is the driver's side. Let's just see. No, that's the passenger side. So let's just pop it in that side. I'm going to come over this side and just bolt it down. Right, over there, and there's a bolt over there. Alright, let's grab the other one. Alright, and that is in place. So let's get this bolted down as well. And just like that, that is perfect. So this car is ready to go to auction. They did color code the heads as well on this thing, because obviously those were paintable. So this thing looks fairly decent, and I think it's going to hopefully attract some high-end buyers who are in the market for a 1958 Impala. So yes, I think this thing is as good as it gets. So before we continue, I've got a little bit of news about this truck. So I also purchased a bunch of used parts from the junkyard for it. So we've got a front axle, and we've got a replacement rear axle there. We've got a brand new radiator and also some new parts. So we obviously have to do a little bit of a service to get this thing up and running. So as for the cab, I did replace the floor pan over the weekend, and I kind of welded the whole thing back together. So we still need to go and find a dash for this thing, because I haven't found a dashboard yet. But I'm going to see how far we can get to assembling this thing today. So if you look at the back of the bed here, we've got a transfer case and some leaf springs and stuff as well. So that is drive shafts, everything we need to get this thing basically running. And then if you come and have a look over here, we've got the new left-hand side panels that we're going to be mounting. And this one has got a bed box we are going to be mounting on the side as well. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a nice feature for this thing. Obviously, I'll still need a couple of nitty-gritty things like the trims for these. but we'll get to that once we send this thing over to paint. We'll order those things. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to get this cab mounted. So let's put that on. And then we'll just be sure to bolt it down so that it's secured. And over there, we've got 2 bolts on this side as well. We'll do that one and also that one. So now we need to start putting the front end parts on here, which I actually need to wash first. I haven't even washed it yet, so let's go over there and quickly give these things a thorough check and see what is happening with them. We've got our front nose clip here with the radiator support and everything. We need to replace the radiator on that. This has got, yeah, it's got quite a bit of damage actually, but hopefully we'll be able to use those. I mean, this truck is just going to be for hauling junk up and down until we can afford something better. So it's not going to be perfect in any way. It's just going to be something better than hooking up the small trailer over here behind our ramp truck, which is a little bit of a challenge to tow a trailer behind that long vehicle of ours. So as for the ramp truck, I actually took that into Richard's Auto Body as well so that they can color match our fender and the hood, so that that is sorted out as well. So that is what's happening with the ramp truck, why it isn't at the shop. So yes, we are just cleaning up these things a little bit. And then we're gonna see if we can get this thing put back together. We've got some rust on this, but I'm not gonna be too concerned about a little bit of rust here and there. As I'm saying, this thing is not going to be anywhere near perfect. We just need a beater pretty much to move stuff up and down with. Right, let's just flip this around. So I do want to give this grill a little bit of a wash. Oh, come on, are you gonna lay down like that? I think we need to put it like that for now. Alright, let's go around this side. We'll give it a nice wash. And just like that, it sort of comes back to life. So I think that's good enough for now. Don't think it's perfect, but at least we've got something to work with. So if we start with these panels, hopefully they are going to be able to mount to our truck. So we are going to start with the left one. Just like that. We'll get it put into place. And there we go. We've got our fender mounted on that side at least. Alright, let's go grab the opposite side over here. This one. It's also in quite bad shape, but as I said, it's just something we need at the moment to get this thing sort of assembled. Alright, and then we'll bolt this down just like that. And now I believe the front clip with the radiator can be mounted. So let's grab this as well. Alright, so there we go. We've got our radiator support in place. Just need to find the bolts on this. I believe it's this one and that one. Right, so now we're going to grab our front bumper over here. And then we'll come back for the hood. Alright, so there's a bolt over there, and we've got a bolt on this side. Just like that. Alright, so this thing is already starting to look like a truck. Just by bolting on a couple of parts. So these parts were very inexpensive. And basically all the money that we got from Lacko went towards buying these parts. So that is why we don't have a major change in our money since the last episode. So we did get a little bit of money in, and that money just basically went out again. See, I missed a little bit of cleaning over there. But that is not a problem. So the next thing we're going to need is our welding machine. Just put it down over here because we're going to be welding this panel back into place. So I think this part needs to go on first. So let's get this fitted. I hope those things aren't going to be in the way. Should be fine. Alright, so there's a couple of welds here. We'll open the tailgate just to make sure there's nothing hiding behind there. Let's just see. Yeah, I don't think there's any welds to be done over there. So that is good. And it looks like our floor is also slightly damaged, but as I said, this is a work truck. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so next thing I want to mount this box quickly. So this is going to be a nice addition. Some space for our toolboxes to go in. And I believe that should just bolt down. Right over there, we've got a bolt. And over on this side, there should be another bolt. Just like that. I don't think there's anything at the top. Doesn't look like there's anything at the top. And I don't believe there's any welds necessary on this thing. No, it doesn't look like it. So we can go ahead and mount our outer skin. Just like that. And let's get it welded up as well. So these, yeah, there we go. So that's basically where we need to weld it. We've got some welds over here. It's a little bit challenging to get to, but we'll get it. And let's just see, there's nothing else over here. Right, well, I think that is basically it. But the nice thing about this thing is it's got this door we can open. So we can put our tools in there, and then it'll stay nice and dry and clean, instead of putting it at the back of the truck, getting a lot of dust and dirt onto it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to lift this thing up. We are going to be installing the front suspension we have, basically just as is. I did buy a couple of things we can try and salvage from this. We just need to see, this bar needs to come off probably for this thing to actually go onto the truck. Let's just see if that's going to work. There we go. Alright, so let's be sure to get all of these bolts tightened down. Alright, that should do. We do have a better brake disc for this, so I did buy some brake pads and stuff like that we need to replace. Just to make sure our brakes are going to be working at least. And we also got a second-hand steering box, which is not the best condition, but it should do the job for us quite a bit for a while. So now it's just a matter of figuring out where this thing needs to go. I think it's there. And then we've got front shock absorbers. This is a second-hand one that I got. Still fairly good, but obviously I had to buy a new one for the opposite side. Because, yeah, the junkyard didn't have a good one for the other side, so we'll just replace it with a new one. So that way we shouldn't have any suspension issues for quite some time with this truck at least. And let's not forget our steering link now that our steering box is in. So we'll tighten it to that, and also over here. So obviously you can tell we need to service this front drive axle a little bit. We are in need of a new knuckle or a hub carrier over here. And we need a new axle, half axle for this side. But as far as that goes, yeah, we'll just stick with what we've got. Let me quickly grab our toolbox. So I do want to go ahead and service the brakes while we are busy here, because I've got new brake hoses as well for the whole vehicle. So we're going to try and put this thing together and see if it fires up, but yeah, we won't be able to do that because we don't have our dashboard yet. So we'll just put everything together, top up the fluids, and then yeah, it all depends on the amount of time we have left for the episode. We might actually see if we can start working on Harry's car over there, which is going to need a little bit of work as well, as you can tell. Alright, so these old brake pads can just come out for now. That one's a little bit toast, but we've got a new brake line. So let's replace the brake line as well. Alright, so there we go. So our new brake line. Let's get our brake pads. Put them in. Alright, and then I just wanted to check, is this... Yeah, this is the thin disc, so we'll replace that with a little bit better one we've got. Alright, so let's grab this one. There we go. So that is trashed as well. And we'll just install the one we've got over here. Is this actually the correct one? Alright, so I may have grabbed the wrong one from the shelf here. Yes, I did. Okay, so this is the one I need to put on. So let's get this one installed rather. Alright, perfect. So that is sorted. Now we can get our caliper back on. And bolt it down. And then what I want to do is we've got some wheels in the back of the truck. These ones came off Laco's truck. So we're just going to install these because we have them at the moment. So I'm not going to go full out with getting new wheels and tires just yet for this truck, because my hopes are still there that we are going to get our original shop truck back at some point. So I want to just get something temporarily up and running for this thing, you know, for this purpose. So we are spending a little bit of money, but not really much. Alright, so we probably have to remove this axle. So let's get that unbolted. We're not going to bolt down the axle or the shock to the axle just yet, because we need to get this thing dropped down. Alright, and then we need to take this off for the front, well, for the replacement part. This needs to go onto our replacement axle, but we'll get to that in a bit. So let me just pop this on here before I forget about it. And then I believe we've got all the bolts. Okay, there's still one over here. We need to tighten down over there. Alright, perfect. So let's see this front side. Okay, we need a knuckle, obviously. But we're going to replace the brake pads in this quickly. And then we'll also pop a wheel on here. So let's do that. We need this. Our pry tool. There's our old brake pads. Right, we'll get the new ones installed. Just like that. Let's get this brake hose removed. And we'll put the new one on. Just like that. Right, so that is our front brakes serviced until we get the opportunity to either recondition the whole front suspension at some point. But we are going to be mounting this second-hand brake line, main brake line we have. So we'll get that bolted down. And under the hood we've got a brand new master cylinder as well. You'll probably not be able to see it just now. But yes, I believe that is everything for the front. We just need to get ourselves a wheel installed. So let's grab the other one we've got. Alright, let's just go down a smidge over here. It's this one. So we will grab this wheel. Alright. Alright, and now we can start tackling all of these things. So let's get these unloaded. We've got all our drive shafts here. Stuff that I managed to accumulate over the weekend. And our transfer case, also second-hand. And we've got second-hand leaf springs. I think that those should be better than the ones we've currently got on the truck. Alright, and then we've also got this wheel, which is good. So we just really need to grab one of these wheels off of this axle. I don't think there's anything else we need from this axle. I mean, maybe that wheel we can keep as a spare wheel, so let's just get it removed. Alright, just like that. And then we can remove this bad shock absorber as well. And let's grab our new one on the table over here. Alright, so obviously I've got a new gas tank as well, because we didn't have a gas tank in this truck. Alright, so let's take off this leaf spring over here. I think the bolt is on the inside on this one. Alright, so that one isn't bad, but we've got some better ones that I got from the junkyard. So this is actually very important for us to have good rear leaf springs at least, because this is where the weight is going to be loaded on. And then we've got this one for this side, which I believe is bolted down over there and over there. That is looking fairly decent. Alright, so now I believe we can grab this axle. I'm not sure if this is going to go in. There we go. No problem at all. Just be sure to tighten down everything. Alright, and let's go to the other side. We'll do the same. And over there we've got a bolt. Alright, so that is very well so far. We just need to lift it up again. So let's quickly go under here and see what we can get installed. So I think we'll need to start with our transfer case, which I did get a new transfer case bracket. We were missing it because, yeah, I don't know what I did with the other one. Probably got lost with the removal of all the rubbish parts in the past. But I did manage to get a second-hand one, so that is in. And this one is the one for the rear, which should go in without a problem. Just need to bolt it down on this side, just like that. And this is our front drive shaft, which will go in there. Alright, and the bolts are just on this side. So just like that, we have sorted out basically all of the stuff at the back as well. But now we need to service our brakes. So I'm just going to pop these brake drums off. That one isn't too bad. We've got a bad hub on this side though, but I'm not going to be worried about it. I don't think it's completely trashed, but those brake shoes, they don't look that good. So we've got a full set of brand new brake shoes for both sides. So we'll put some new brake shoes in. So let's bring them closer. Alright, and then let's pop these off. All the second-hand parts. Although some of them aren't that bad. I think it's just better to have new ones. Alright, and let's slide this drum over there. I'll go around to the other side and do the same. Yeah, these are actually fairly good still, so we might keep those around as spares, backup. Alright, and then we'll get our drum on as well. Just put our pry tool back in the toolbox before we lose it. And then we're going to need our screwdriver. Just bolt that down. And there. And I think that is basically it. Now we just need to mount a couple of nitty-gritty things like these new brake hoses at the back. So we'll do them one at a time. Alright, so there's the one. That's a little bit old, so we'll put the new one back on. Let's just get the positioning correct. And just like that. And then we'll do the same on this side. So this way we're going to know we've got brand new brake lines all around our truck. And that's not going to be a failing point anytime soon, luckily. Right, let's do, come on, let's do this one, just like that. Bolt it down, and just like that, bolt it down. Right, so let's grab our wheel we've got over here, which is it's got a good tire on as well. Just like that, and then this one can go over to this side. And now I believe this thing should basically look like a truck. So let's lower this thing down and see how it sits now. Alright, well, can probably take that out, these arms. We do have got a flat tire on the back, but that's not a big problem. We don't have to drive this thing just yet. Alright, so in the rest of the parts we've got over here, we've got a taillight. Obviously we need to put back in on this quarter panel. Alright, so let's just make sure that is tight. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Alright, let's just get some air into this tire first of all. Right, I believe it should be happy now if we lower it down again. There we go. Alright, so just think what I was busy with. So yeah, as I said, we just need to mount the stuff on the inside, on the engine bay. We've got our main wires over here. So let's grab these. I think they mount to this side. We've got our ground wire over there. Our ground wire there, and then alternator. So this is a little inline 6 engine that we had laying around. I haven't ordered a starter yet, so we can't bolt that down. Alright, then we'll get our fuel line installed over there. Just bolt it down. Alright, and then we can grab our battery. And we'll get this installed as well. Just like that. So now we should have power to the truck. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the fluids, because I think everything will be fine. Obviously I forgot the radiator, so let's just swap the radiator out first. Because that one is definitely looking a little bit crusty. Alright, so there's the old one. It's actually very bad. And we've got our brand new radiator over here. Brand new radiator hoses as well. Which is going to make it a little bit more reliable, so it doesn't overheat. And just like that. Alright, so now I can start topping up the fluids over here. And then, yeah, once we get our dashboard, we can get this thing fired up. Alright, and we are just finishing up with the coolant over here. So just to give you guys a little bit of relaxed, or to put your mind at ease, I didn't forget about the bolt under the master cylinder. I did tighten that up before putting the brake fluid in. So that is all nice and tight up there. And we've got all our brake lines tightened down as well. So this truck is basically put together now. It should actually fire up once we get the dashboard, obviously with the ignition key and everything. So then this thing should be ready to start working for us. We just need to take it for a quick inspection to Richard's Auto Body to get some decent license plates. So yeah, I think some nitty-gritty things, and then this thing should be as good as we need it to be. So we'll clean up the shop a little bit off camera afterwards. But I think now we can start tackling Harry's Pontiac Firebird over there. So I'm not entirely sure what to expect with this car. I have just put it up on the lift just so that it's not sitting completely crooked, because we are missing a couple of suspension parts here. As you can see, this thing is sitting quite crooked actually when you lower it down, so we are missing a leaf spring on this side. Further, I can't really say there's a lot of rust issues on the bodywork, except for exterior rust. Not really floor pans or anything like that is gone. So this car is a little bit more solid than the Firebird we had way back. I don't know if you guys recall the episode, but yes, we also had a 3rd gen Firebird we fixed up quite a while ago. So we're going to start off by taking the wheels off and just seeing what we've got to work with for brakes and all that. So we do have got a couple of odd wheels on here as well. I think, no, the rest of them are the same ones. But yes, let's start with the rear right corner over here. So we've got bad brakes. I'll have to replace all of these things. So let's see. Let's get our brake rotor off. This car is actually a little bit too high, but we can reach at least. So let's just go down a tiny bit. Alright, that should do. And let's continue. I think I already got one of these bolts from the hub off. Alright, so there's our hub. It's very used, but it still works, so I'm not sure how far we are going to go with regards to getting things perfect on this car. But yeah, I haven't spoken to Harry much about engines, what size engine he would like to put in this thing, because I think the engine in this is pretty basic. We'll have to see if we can get this running for him maybe, or don't know if he wants to have a completely rebuilt engine. That'll also be something we'll still discuss with him. So for now, I'm just going to go through all the basics and see what we need to do. Obviously, this leaf spring is also shot, so we're going to have to replace that. Gas tank is rusty, so we'll have to get a new gas tank for this thing as well. Alright, there's our rusty old gas tank. There might be some gas in this. Alright, let's start on this corner. Let's get this wheel off as well. I actually like the design on this wheel, but this doesn't really suit this era of car. This is more like a classic muscle car wheel. So we'll see if we can find some better wheels for this thing. I think there are some 3rd gen Firebird wheels that I've seen. And maybe even if we do like a crossover, like do some older rims on it from an older generation Firebird as well, we could also do that. But we'll see what is available. And whoop, that nearly dropped on my head, but we've got it. Right, I think, yeah, shock absorbers, we're going to have to replace both of those. Rear axle still seems decent. And we've got a handbrake cable on here. Let's get this removed quickly. Let's just see. Handbrake cable isn't too bad. We'll reuse that probably. This brake disc is completely broken on this end, so let's get that removed quickly. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have to get 2 new brake discs anyway, which I would have done basically because they are inexpensive anyway. And we've got another bolt down there. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, so this hub is still very new compared to the other one. So we'll be able to reuse that one, but this one we're gonna probably replace. And this differential in here seems to be very bad, so we'll definitely get a new one of these. Alright, so there's a... Alright, so this is a 3.8 locked differential, so we'll see if we can replace it with something a little bit higher geared, maybe for higher speed. But yeah, I'll just double check with Harry what he would like to have in the car. Alright, so moving on to the front. Let's get our drive shaft off. That's probably going to be stuck now because we didn't take the bolts out the rear. So let's just let it hang a bit for now. We'll tackle the front suspension first. So we'll do the cross member over here. And I'm just going to do the trick, trying to take off the whole thing as an assembly over here. Are there even bolts on this side? There should be. I'm quite sure there should be. Alright, so this bolt is just a little bit hard to reach, so we're gonna start by stripping the wheel off over here. So let's just leave that cross member on there for now. If it doesn't want to come off, we'll sort it out. Alright, and this brake caliper over here. Was actually thinking of putting a table over there by the window, because then you can also put the front suspension parts on the table, because now everything is going to end up on the floor here, which is going to make my cleanup work a lot worse, because then I've got parts scattered all over the garage floor. But yes, we've got bad tie rods, bad shock absorber probably. Yeah, it's on its last legs anyway. Alright, and let's get this removed. It's our strut rod, very rusty. Alright, where's our toolbox? Let's bring it over that side. Now see if we can grab that disc. Alright, what's the story of this brake disc? It looks a little thin. That it is, we'll replace that. Alright, and this hub. How's the hub doing? Not the best. Upper control arms. So we'll look at getting this one removed. Looks a little bit rusty. Right, so that is also gone. Very far gone. And the hub carrier also very rusty. Very old. Have to get a new one of those as well. This lower control arm doesn't look too bad. We've got a decent lower control arm here. But it's still on its last legs anyway, so it needs to be replaced. Right, so let's start on this side. I think we'll work our way towards the middle near the end. So I think if we got suspension sorted on this car, then we can probably start on the engine. We'll sort out the engine work. So suspension first, and then it's going to be engine work, and then we can tackle the body work, get that sorted out. And we've got a bad brake caliper on this side. So the brakes in general on this car is just completely rubbish by the looks of it. Well, the suspension in general is looking like rubbish on this car. And yep, another shock absorber on its last legs. Alright, let's get this steering bar removed. Yep, very rusty indeed. And what else do we have? We've got this little arm we could take off for the steering, which isn't too bad, so could probably reuse that. I'm going to put it on the table so that I can see it. And then our steering box over here. Yeah, that's basically still new. So we don't have to buy those. Alright, let's see what else we've got over here. We've got our strut rod for this side. Once again, rusty. Let's see this disc. Quickly, the disc should still be fine. Yeah, it's not too bad. But we might as well replace them all because, yeah, we're gonna just do a little bit of a brake replacement on this car. Make sure it's as good as it can get. Right, that hub is toast. This hub carrier is also toast. That is gone. And upper control arm. Come on, can we reach the bolt? There we go. Strangely enough, this upper control arm still looks fairly decent. Let's just put it on top of the table. Alright, and then let's check this arm over here. Lower control arm. That's also still good. So we could probably reuse that as well. Right, now it's for this cross member. I'm not sure if there's a bolt hidden somewhere here. Right, let's see if we can lower this car down a little bit. Maybe we'll get access to those bolts. Right, so here we go. Let's start unbolting some stuff from here. I think we should get this engine out. Then we can start seeing what we are working with. The transmission can obviously stay for now. Alright, and our cross member actually fell out. So it looks like it just needed a little bit of a shunt. So there we go. I managed to get the bolts by the looks of it. Right, let's see with our engine. If we can get the engine out now. Just take the fuel line out. We've got that unbolted and this one. And let's do the alternator. And there we go. There's our busted engine. And I see this also came off. This is the harmonic balancer. So this was probably half loose already. Yeah, that is interesting the way that came off. Radiator looks terrible. So let's remove that as well. And this battery is looking bad. Let's just get this off as well. Just make sure that is out of the way. Alright, radiator. This one is a little bit shorter than the normal radiators. So I actually think I might have a spare radiator for this car in the barn. But I'll have to double check on that. Alright, but yes, this car still needs quite a lot of work. We've got some brake booster problems by the looks of it. That is also rusty. So in terms of interior of this car, yeah, it looks kind of worn. Most of the parts look quite badly worn. But we'll see. I think when I did the interior for my Firebird, I did manage to find a white set of interior as well. But I'll just check with Harry what color interior he would like in this thing. Because it's not going to be easy for us to just go and find any color interior for this car. So we'll see about that. But yes, looking at the time, I think it's going to be a wrap for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio.